time. But now KMC with possession as Gutierrez pushes upfield. And a full retreat here for McGuiness. And, up by 1, I wouldn't be surprised if they start playing a little bit more conservative, just trying to, eliminate as many opportunities for Capen as possible. And now Johnson, just as I say that, a rather threatening position. She loses her shoe. Or no, excuse me, it looks like that's Carson Sloan's shoe that's on the ground. But now Sieper able to clear it. And now with McGuiness still attacking, Carson Sloan's shoe is on the ground.
I see it. It's orange.
And so it's going to be interesting to see how that develops. As another clearance here from Schaefer now gives Johnson a shot. And now another deflection. Let's see what Capen can do. He's trying to clear it out of here. But McGuiness staying resilient and now saved.
Wow. What a save. And Gabe, I would assume that you probably know a little bit more about soccer than I do because my knowledge is zero.
I'm not that far ahead of you.
But hey, there are some questions I have. So I wonder, you see as the Bishop McGuinness girls keep attacking.
Yeah.
They'll play something to the middle. They'll play like they'll force the issue coming up the middle a little bit. We'll get a deflection. We'll get at least possession to a certain degree. But it seems like we don't hold on to that possession. It seems like we're trying to clear it out just immediately. But it seems like our clearings are going out to the middle. Whereas opposed to, I don't know what a soccer coach would prefer, whether it goes to the middle or whether it goes outside or whether you keep possession. I wonder what the decision-making process is there for what you want your players to do.
I think it just depends. I mean, Cantelli's running a hard foul here. So we're going to see a free kick, and this is going to be pretty threatening as this is well within range for a solid shot. But regardless, I mean, you can tell he's running a 4-3-3. So, I mean, to your point, it's obviously, situation. But if you're in a situation where the majority of your players are in defending position, they're maybe just outside the box, a lot of them are going to be concentrated in the center of the field. And so if you're going outside, I would say, I mean, if you're going to clear outside, most of the time you can just clear it out of bounds. I mean, that gives you a chance to reset.
And that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if you would want to play it out to the side as opposed to playing it out to the middle, just so you have a chance to regroup.
But I mean, I guess that is true. But I guess the only downside to that is if you clear it out wide and then you don't win it, and let's say if your KMC McGuiness wins it on the outside, you're opening yourself up to a cross. And if they're able to cross into the middle, I mean, that's almost like a free corner kick. And I mean, it's like a corner kick, but the defense doesn't even have a chance to set up. So it can be a pretty threatening position.
Okay.
And so, I mean, because, I mean, you see here, I mean, as I swap my mic, Capen's very concentrated in the center of the field. And so, I mean, as I said earlier, I mean, you see McGuiness, reacting to that rather well, taking a lot of shots outside the box, which is something that Capen probably was not expecting, nor were they, you prefer. They prefer, probably getting them into the box, trying to ensue a little bit of chaos and, hopefully come out on top with the ball.
Returning for the Crusaders,
but, at the end of the day, I mean, as much as I would like to call myself a soccer analyst, I don't think I can say I'm too much of a professional here. I'd probably just, leave the coach into Mr. Cantelli over on the sideline.
Oh, yeah. Fully.
But
yeah.
So, Mr. Hebert, I mean, if you were coaching a soccer team, what system do you think? What formation are you thinking here?
Well, that would require the knowledge of knowing any other systems other than what you just said. So I have no idea. Maybe a 1-1-1-1-1.
Just ones?
I don't know.
Just 11 ones.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to cover the whole field a little bit.
Or maybe a 10-1. You have one defender, 10 attackers.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't be a very good soccer coach because I don't know if I would utilize a goalie all that much.
Oh,
it's like punting in football.
Yeah,
you just get rid of it. Just go right after the scores. We'll play 12-on-1 or 12-on-11 and see what we can do.
Yeah,
But no, I think when you get into these first couple games, I know just from a coaching perspective, you're probably trying to look a little bit more in terms of like how your girls are competing, how they're trying to implement the stuff that you do in practice. I'm not sure how much obviously everybody wants to win each game they play, but I'm not sure how important that is right now. Coach Cantelli's been historically a tough scheduler for both the boys and the girls teams, where they play some really tough competition at the beginning of the year, but it hardens them up for the end of the year.
Exactly, and there's Nichols there with some hard-fought defense, and that ends up out of bounds. And so it looks like McGuiness will retain possession as the throw-in now gets into the midfield. And now Palace able to get that back for Capon. And Sherman able to knock it back to Bartle. Now a nice little feed, a cheeky little shot up. And so now Sherman with a chance to do something. Now Sherman on the outside corner. Looks like she's going to fall. But now Barron's with it. And now another loose ball. And so Capon looking to retreat a little bit here. And now McGuiness getting a little more aggressive. Something we haven't seen too much of. But now Guzman with it. And now, you're facing a 3-on-4. And now Sieper able to put that to rest. But regardless, as you said earlier, McGuiness typically plays a pretty, conservative game from what we've seen so far. So, and this is probably, the second or third time where we've seen, as you said, kind of lulling Capon into, thinking they're on the attacking prowl, for lack of a better word. And then they turn it upfield, try to push the tempo, try to counterattack as fast as possible. And, Sieper and Tilma there to stop it on that attempt. But still, a great tactic there from McGuiness. And so it looks like another foul here. And looks like to take it this time will be Roberts for McGuiness. And we'll see what they try to do here. Maybe they go into the box, or maybe they try to get it just outside the box and maybe get a chip in. But no, into the box, and looks like that's actually going to go all the way past the far line. And so now Schaefer will have yet another goal kick here.
Returning for the Crusaders is Matt Spears.
And so
Somebody for Bishop McGuiness, number 6, Georgia Garrett. Victoria Gutierrez returns for the Crusaders.
And now they're stopping the action here. As a drop ball here, not something you see too often. And if Spears can get it, oh, no. But you watch much soccer, Mr. Hebert? Any of the Premier League or anything like that, Champions League?
0%.
Watch any Ted Lasso?
No, I don't. I don't have Apple TV, but I only hear good things about that show. So I need to get on board with that. And it's a coaching show, so
it is.
No, the knowledge of soccer for me is probably all comes from playing a lot of FIFA with my buddies in college.
Yeah.
Played an awful lot of FIFA, but beyond that, I don't know it. I don't know anything about soccer. I have played one season of indoor soccer, which I was
really?
bad enough that my team put me in goal because I couldn't do anything else. So I was a really bad goalie. But
was this in college or?
No, this is like within the last 2 or 3 years.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. But I was not very good, and I had to learn how to kick it off the ground to get it up in the air. That's not an easy thing to do sometimes if you never played soccer.
Ooh,
that's kind of an interesting shot by Gutierrez there. At least it was directed at the goal. I don't know. It's those slow-moving shots. I mean, you maybe hope for a bad bounce.
Yeah.
Hope for a bad control by the goalie. I don't know.
I mean, it's definitely hard. I mean, that shot was great by Gutierrez. I mean, just because even a little bit of curve can help you and can go a long ways. And so it's a nice shot there. And I mean, another thing to keep in mind is, of course, we live in the great state of Kansas, so, a lot of times the wind might be able to help you out just a bit.
I'm telling you, I've seen a lot of soccer games that the wind plays an incredible part in those games. When the wind picks up here, boy, there are some times where you can't. The ball will just roll in one direction the entire time. So it almost depends. It's almost you got to make some alternate strategies. So if you're going against the wind, you got to play a little differently than if you're going with the wind.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
Exactly right. And now a nice little move there by Fury. Gets back to Sieper, who kicks it up to Sherman. And Sherman loses it back into the midfield. Now Tilma with some ferocity. Gets it over to Bartle. And now Capon with some dangerous, attacking presence here. And that'll be out of bounds, and that will be heading McGuiness' way. And now it looks like number 15. Number 15 of McGuiness, that is Torres, returns for the Fighting Irish.
Ellie Torres returning for Michigan.
And now here comes number 6, Garrett. And something I'm struggling with here is just how fast the ball moves, and just how often it changes hands, and it seems like almost all 11 players are.
Gabe, it doesn't ever change hands. Gonna be real.
That's
honest
true.
with you
That's
here.
true. It changes feet.
Changes feet. Yes.
But
that would be illegal. I think that
would be
a
illegal.
foul or some kind of penalty.
It is, and if you do it intentionally, that's a yellow card.
Yeah. I think if you do it in the box near the goal, I think it's a red card.
It's a red card. It is.
But
that's only if you are doing it intentionally to stop a goal.
How do you tell intentionality? Is that
tell.
just a judgment call?
I don't know. I mean, the one that he strikes my mind is Suarez. Just like the goalie was off to the side, and so he just played goalie.
But I mean, if you're saving a goal, though, isn't it kind of worth it?
Well, then they get a penalty.
They have to kick the penalty kick, though.
And no, they missed, and it worked. But then he got suspended for a game. Well, because if you get a red card, you're suspended for the next.
I gotcha.
But
Connor Nichols returns to the Crusaders.
and so, but you're right. I mean, it worked out for him in the end.
Yeah.
Now they got bounced in the next round. But
No. Is this World Cup?
That was World Cup.
Okay, gotcha.
But I don't know. Do you watch much of the World Cup? You gotta watch the World Cup.
Yeah, I'll watch it if USA is playing. I'll watch them.
Pulisic, the LeBron James of soccer.
Yeah, don't know much about him.
From Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Okay. Oh, well, you apparently know a little bit about this guy.
I watched a little bit of the World Cup. I mean,
Okay.
they talked a lot about Pulisic
Okay.
in the game. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I'm trying to think of another American player. Turner was the goalie.
Okay.
He's good. But
I'll watch the women's too.
yeah,
our women's team is traditionally pretty good. So,
they are.
but yeah, I don't know the first thing that I'm watching. So, I know there's a lot of angles, and I know there's a lot of vision involved, and seeing it's a lot like a point guard in a basketball game, to where you see where the defenders are, so you know where you can make a pass. Looks like they're pushing him back to make him throw it in a little bit farther.
And now Spears with it. And Spears, a multi-sport athlete. And, that's something they see quite often. You see quite often in soccer. I mean, obviously it attracts a lot of athletes, and it's a lot of diverse athletes. I mean, you can be 6'6" and maybe not the fastest, but you can be a great defender. And then on the flip side of that, you can be 5'2" and faster than anyone on the field. You can be a great attacking player.
Yeah.
And so,
well, I mean, we see a lot of these girls that play other sports as well. It's interesting to see what Myra will do out there today. She didn't play last year, but she played a lot as a freshman. But she tore her ACL at the end of last year's basketball season, so she didn't get to play last year, and she got to play maybe half the season of the basketball season this year. So it's interesting to see how more confidence she gets with that knee, and how far she can get back.
Yeah.
But we also see.
Maybe some substitutions here.
Looks like the refs are talking something over out here.
Looks like the initial ruling was Capon will have a corner.
Oh, they changed the call to a goal kick. Interesting. But you also see Meg Tilma, one of the best golfers in the state out there, playing midfield. We've got all kinds of athletes out here. It's fun to see what they can do.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, yeah. Well put.
Well, and you got to be marveled by the fact that, like, I'm always fascinated by sports and activities of things that I can't do.
Yeah.
So it's just it's fun to watch soccer for me, because all these girls can kick with their left foot, and I could not kick with my left foot if you paid me to. I could not do it. I could not kick it.
Oh, there's 2 balls on the pitch.
Well, here at Stryker, we've got a lot of balls, or a lot of fields all over the place here. So with the wind as it is today, I mean, this might be a fairly regular occurrence.
Yeah, I don't know if the cameras caught that, but that was, I don't know, a moment of confusion maybe. Yeah, sorry to really interrupt you. I was just so jarred by the, maybe the potential multi-ball play here.
I think you'll be okay.
But, nice play there by Bartle. And looks like McGuiness will retain possession. But, Bartle is quickly becoming one of my favorite players. I mean, she obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, that's rather rude, but not the biggest girl out there, height-wise, but she's playing with a lot of intensity, a lot of passion out there.
There is something to be said in a game where you have to change direction awfully quick. You're lower, the lower your center of your gravity is, the more of an advantage you have. So,
and you look at Messi. He's not a big guy.
Oh, I've heard some strange stories about him trying to get taller. Have you heard any of these stories?
I heard his parents tried to make him taller.
Right.
Like
I heard
he was little.
When he went to all these doctors and tried all these weird.
Well, because I heard he had some kind of illness, or
oh really?
He was born with some thing that was going to make him not grow to be as tall.
Gotcha.
And so I think they went to all these things trying to reverse it.
Right.
But I guess it doesn't matter. It proves to, I guess if there's any shorter than home, Messi should be your role model.
Well, where there's a will, there's a way.
Exactly. So. MJ had knocked knees.
Okay.
Did you know that?
I don't know if I even believe that. What are you talking about?
He had knocked knees. He had not dramatic, but yeah, he supposedly he had pigeon feet.
How dramatic do you have to be to have it be dramatic? Like how?
It causes knee problems.
Okay.
And back problems, because he had a lot of back problems.
Okay.
Speaking of basketball, of course, March Madness ensuing. And last night, of course, the last of the Sweet 16, and so moving on. In the Elite Eight, for the first time in NCAA history, there will be no 1 seeds moving on to the Elite Eight.
It's crazy.
Interviewing Master Crusaders number 7.
And
Polk.
to go along with that, only a single 2 seed moves on.
Yeah, it's been a fun tournament to watch. I mean, there's just it's anybody. It's anybody right now can win this thing. There's no clear-cut favorite right now. That's pretty fun.
Exactly, and I think that's also just kind of the best tournaments. Can you kind of pick some your favorite Cinderellas, whoever it is that you are kind of pulling for, especially when your team gets bounced early on.
And who's your team?
Well, yeah, initially I was probably cheering for KU, but obviously I'm heading to Arkansas next year, and so that was a second round matchup that caused some family tension.
Interesting.
And I went into the that round of 32 matchup, and I was probably more so cheering for KU, but I wasn't gonna be upset if Arkansas won, especially since they had Ricky Council, who's former
Wichita
WSU
State player, yeah.
and he had a great game. He had an amazing game.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course Arkansas went on to win, and then I watched Arkansas shoot 30% from the field. So
It's tough to win like that.
well, that's why I didn't.
Well, thanks. Obviously, my team's Duke, and we got punched in the face by a Tennessee team that was just kind of forced the issue right away. And super physical, super tough. Plays very physical defense, and we didn't really have an answer for that. But then I moved over to Princeton.
Yeah,
And I watched a lot of Princeton. I like Princeton.
I watched that game last night. That was a tough loss for the Tigers.
And I'm
think.
telling you, that number 3 for Princeton can play. I can see him finding a team. I could see
Is
him
that
finding a
the-
team. He's number 3. I can't remember his name. It's like Langford or something
Yeah,
like
Langford. He's an intern on Wall Street.
that. Oh, well, maybe he won't find a way into the league. He's
You
probably
know,
going
yeah.
to make some more money
They
somewhere
found
else.
they found his LinkedIn profile, and he's an intern on Wall Street.
Nice.
So-
But that guy can do some stuff. I like the way he played. I like the fact that Princeton still did backdoor cuts. Awesome.
Yeah.
Fun stuff.
Very primitive basketball, almost.
Well, it's the fundamentals, Gabe. It's
Fundamental.
all about
I
the
shouldn't
fundamentals.
say. I shouldn't say primitive. I should say fundamentals.
10 seconds remaining.
And so now the final seconds of the first half wind down, and now Redcorn will get the final save, and that will send us to the locker room. And so we join us back in about 10 minutes for the second half of action. Hello and welcome back to Stryker Sports Complex, one of your Cape Mount Carmel Crusaders, for the second half of action in the exciting Bishop McGuiness versus Cape Mount Carmel matchup, in which McGuiness enters the second half up by 1. And, of course, joined here by Mr. Will Hebert.
Hello.
And we saw, McGuiness come out swinging. They had that goal early on, I should say. And, McGuiness I'd probably say has been in the driver's seat for the majority of this game. But towards the second half, we saw Cape get, a little more aggressive. They had a lot more shots on goal. And, I think, we're going to see a lot of the same, hopefully, heading into the second half.
Well, I wonder what a coach, like a soccer coach, it'd be interesting to ask soccer coach some of this stuff just to kind of pick their brains in terms of, obviously not every opportunity is the same as another opportunity. There are good opportunities, there are not as good opportunities. I wonder in a game like this where there have been so few opportunities to take shots, I wonder if there's a adjustment made at halftime where maybe you're telling the girls, hey, let's take a few more chances. Let's maybe push it maybe when we wouldn't every time before. I don't know if there's a change in that. I'm not terribly sure how that works, or do you just keep playing your same game plan and hope that it eventually works out? I don't know.
I don't know. I think I would say, right now you're in pretty decent striking distance, and so to that I would say what you planned on in the first half, your game plan coming in didn't completely fail. I would say it did pretty well, and so I would think that you wouldn't want to detract too far from that. Now again, you're still down, and so I think maybe some smaller adjustments. Maybe you tell your midfielders to push a little bit more, or maybe be a little bit more aggressive, or something like that.
Right.
And now an injured player.
I didn't see what happened over there.
And, soccer is one of those weird sports. You get a lot of non-contact injuries just because of how much running and, change of direction. You get a lot of non-contact injuries. And so it looks like Garrett, number 6, will come in.
Looks like she's walking off under her own power. So that's a good sign.
And, it looks like shin splints, a lot of cramping, all of that is common. So hopefully, she'll be all right. And so here we go. It'll be a nice little reset for McGuiness. And now Johnson retreats a little bit here. And a nice pass here. Let's see if she can get to it. No, that'll be over the head of Strope. It's still a nice look there by Johnson. But, I always thought, maybe soccer was one of those sports that I should have, tried out a little bit more at, just because, or maybe not even tried more at, tried at all.
Did you ever play soccer as a kid?
I played the Y leagues. I was a menace in the old.
I believe it.
3Y, 3U.
3U. Okay.
Or 3. Yeah, I guess I don't know if they even go 3U. I don't know if that goes that low, but. I think I played in middle school and then hung up the cleats.
Gotcha. In small town Cheney, when I was growing up, soccer wasn't really available as a kid, but I kind of came into made it out to Cheney by the time my brother was in that age, grade school age where they start to play. So I watched my brother play a couple soccer games, but it wasn't really an option at that time in Cheney, Kansas.
I would say that's one of my I think my favorite pastimes right now is especially in the summer, get a lot of little kids. They play soccer because when they play it, they just go to the ball.
Right.
It's just 11 people. It's almost like rugby.
Oh, what a rocket that was! Heidi Bartle took a shot from about 6 or 7 feet outside the box. That was a rocket. And I have learned a couple things from my announcing in soccer. So shots on goal are only counted as shots on goal if the goalie has to save it.
Yeah.
As opposed to it going in. So that's a nice shot on goal for Capon to improve some of those chances or increase the number of chances they're getting. I think that's the main thing right now for the girls. Just to provide some more opportunities for something to happen.
I mean, exactly right. And you still see McGuiness playing rather aggressive here, and that's a miscue. And they get it back up the field.
But, they're really picking their spots, it feels like. It feels like they're really kind of like, ooh, there's a nice rundown.
And now a nice shot, but this time saved.
Is that Victoria Gutierrez or that's Sherman?
That's Sherman.
Okay. That's a nice chase down there.
Yeah. And, there, I mean, that's a very lethal position just because, you're in a 2-on-1 situation. You can either, hit the cross or, even keep it on the ground and just pass it inside. And, of course, you have the ability to shoot. And, Sherman thought she had a good shot there, and she decided to call her own number. And still, still a great shot. But, just cool to see how many ways that can develop. And now Sieper gets it back for Capon. And now Nye pressures Johnson. Johnson retreats and kicks it all the way back to her defender. This is Morrow. Morrow up to no one as that's intercepted. And then it intercepted again, this time by Tilma. And here comes Bartle. Bartle hit from behind, but she's able to maintain control. And now Fury facing Johnson. Takes a hard hit. And looks like Johnson going to pick up a foul. And so now Fury looks like she's going to try to push it upfield and now end up out of bounds. So Capon will retain possession, but still great job by Fury there trying to push the tempo and just try to put as much pressure upfield as possible. Now Nye with it on the outside wing, taking it all the way to the far line. Now end up out of bounds, and let's see what the line judge says. Looks like it'll be a goal kick.
All right, Gabe, we got a question for you.
Yep.
We just had an out of bounds throw in here. I know there's some stipulations about throwing in the ball from out of bounds. You have to have both feet on the ground. It has to be over your head. There's some stuff going on there. In your experience playing at the high level 3U soccer league that you played in, did they explain to you how far you can cheat up the field by walking it up the field? What's the line there? What's the breaker point there?
Oh, that was a nice little cheeky spin move, and now that's going to be off goal, so that is not a shot on goal. As Redcorn did not have to.
She had a couple extra steps. To line that one up, but I think when you get in that position, you're probably just like, I just got my main goal right now is to make sure that I get this shot off.
Yeah.
Before I get jumped.
Myron Nichols returns for the Crusaders.
But to your point, I think that's one of the the beautiful things about soccer is there's not as strict of rules. You look at football and you look at basketball. It's not as hard cut, and so like for instance,
nice save by Gigi.
For instance, like you can be out of bounds, and as long as the ball is in bounds, then you're fine.
Well, I get that,
and
but when the ball goes out of bounds, that girl, Sophia Fury moved 8 feet in front of where that ball went out of bounds.
But see, that's one of the, because it's like an unwritten no one really cares.
But I've seen the refs actually call them back before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so every once in a while that happens where you went too far that time. I want to know what the line is. Is it 12 feet? Is it 9 feet? And Sophia went right up to the mark and stopped just before they told her to go back?
Two player lengths. So it's
dependent
on your height.
So if you have Parker Zacko,
yeah,
it's different than if you have like
Bartle.
Bartle. Yeah.
I think Bartle could do it. I think
So
she, she's limited to probably like 10 feet.
There's a part of me that's wondering if you're making this up, Gabe, because wouldn't you just have in your tallest person throw the ball in regardless of where it went out of bounds, so you can get those extra inches?
I think, who knows? I mean, now that'd be pretty. That's a pretty big gamble just to get a couple inches on the throw-in.
I feel like a
maybe.
menace in a 3U soccer league would know, though.
Well, see, I did the thing where you put the ball on your head and then you do a cartwheel and then you throw it.
At 3U?
Yeah.
Wow.
I would tell you, I was leaps and bounds ahead.
Wow.
That's why I quit. They told me I had to leave.
You were too good.
I was too good, so they made me go play basketball.
Well, they were probably just like, yeah, we're going to have to move you up in age group, but you're just like, I want to play with my friends, though, so
Yeah.
I just won't play.
That's actually, I was a revolutionary. I was like, yeah, I'm not leaving my guys behind.
Right. Like, what, did you have a rivals ranking? I mean,
I don't think the Rivals was around back then.
what, like
I was
Like
on the ESPN Top 100.
3U? You were like that. 3U was like 10 years ago for you.
No, it was 15 years ago.
Okay, 15 years. Okay, same thing.
But no, I was on the ESPN Top 100. That was the big thing.
I
back
didn't.
then.
I didn't know. ESPN Top 100. What number were you?
I was a cool 57.
57. That's a good spot to be.
That was cool. I of course dropped off because those updated until you hit 18. But
Well, if you stop playing too,
Yeah.
it's going to be a problem for you.
the recruiters weren't interested in me after that. And the other thing was that was the only thing I could do. I could just do the little cartwheel throw. They put me in for that. I did that, and I would leave. I could do the little cartwheel throw, and that was it. And so now it looks like Mason Palace and
Returning
Barons,
field, McGuiness,
Victoria
number
Barons,
78, Johnson, and back into
return.
Crusaders. Number 21,
And
Mason Palace,
Johnson
number
returns
23,
for
Victoria
McGuiness.
Barons.
But I mean, you had to have played some other sport, that was like an offhand, like you played 1 or 2 years, and like I did soccer, I did gymnastics.
Really?
I did gymnastics for 2 years. That was mainly because my sister was doing it. My parents just didn't want to make 2 car trips.
Were you the only guy?
No. No, this was also when I was in like first grade.
Okay.
So.
Well, you weren't like in your sister's class.
No, I was in the guys class.
Okay,
I was in
okay.
the guys class.
Wait.
Like we were doing like the pommel horse, and
Oh, cool.
I think we like literally just like got up on it and then like I don't know. I don't even remember, but I do remember I did gymnastics and I could not do a cartwheel, so I got held back.
My foray into other sports was not something I like to like. It's probably not something to be dwelt on. I played baseball when I was a kid.
There you go.
But I wasn't very good.
What position did you play?
Let's see, where did I start off? I was infield. I played some shortstop. I played some third base. I started off as third base, and then I did some pitching as I got older. But I was never very good. I was a terrible batter because I was always scared of the ball. So you can't be very good at baseball if you're scared of the ball. So
I played third base.
Okay.
And speaking of being afraid of the ball, I wasn't great at hitting, but like I get some base hits.
Okay.
But that being said, I broke my finger in coach pitch batting because I swung and like I had my finger got caught in between the ball and the bat as I was swinging, and I broke my finger.
Right. Yeah.
And so then I had a reason to be scared.
Yeah. Now I will say the coach pitch year, that 1 year that you have like between like machine pitch and then like kid pitch.
Yeah.
There's like that gap year. I was dominant.
Oh yeah.
I was a dominant
because
I knew that
the
the coach
coach
wasn't
just-
going to hit me with the ball.
Yeah.
So I was just I had no fear.
Our coach was also a former MLB pitcher, so he was able to put it where we liked it. It looks like some action here as now Roberts kicks it back to Guzman. Guzman trying to push up the pitch, but great defense there. And now Swan with it for Capon. And score still 1-0 here as we're getting ready to pass the halfway point in the second half. But, soccer's one of those sports where you go through some exciting stints where there's a lot of action, and there's others where it's just not as much. And that was a hard hit there, but Sieper able to clear it and now go out of bounds. So it looks like we'll have a corner kick here for McGuiness.
I think if you're looking at stats, and I don't know how many stats they look at in soccer, but I do know they look at corner kicks. I mean, I don't know how many corner kicks, maybe 6, maybe 7, maybe.
No.
And so I think that that's a stat that maybe the coaches look at to a certain degree to be like, how are we doing, as opposed to just goals. So I think Capon maybe has one, if one. So
it's corner kicks are. They're obviously something you want, but they're not like a guaranteed goal or
sure.
Nothing crazy. It's giving you a good opportunity, but corner kicks are obviously just as much as you get to set up your offense, the defense gets to set up what they want to do as well. So
yeah,
that's what we were kind of talking about earlier, where that's why maybe clearing it to the side is so dangerous, because I would argue that having someone in the corner kick position available for to cross it in is 10 times more dangerous than an actual corner kick, just because no one's ready for it. No one's set in place and ready for the corner to come in or the cross to come in. So that's my official take as a soccer analyst.
If you got subbed out there right now, what position would you best be able to handle?
Freshman year, I remember joking around with Taylor Nye because she was complaining about playing in a club game, and I was like, I'll go out there and play for you. I'll just show up and say I'm you. And so I think I could handle my own. So you said how many minutes I would stay out there?
No. What position would you do the best at? Defender, forward, midfield, goalie.
I feel like I'm pretty slow.
Ball kid.
Ball kid. I think I'd be a great line judge.
Would you?
I like the flags.
Okay.
I would like to hold one of the flags, but I think I'd be a pretty decent defender. Maybe a wing defender. I'd like to think I could make some people miss. You see Sophia Fury here, just some great ball handling. And I feel like I could do some, maybe a little bit, not too much. I don't think I could, get too crazy with it, but I feel like I could. I have a little bit of a bag, so to speak.
Okay.
What do you think you could do?
I would have the vision for like a midfield type person to know where to send the ball to be in good positions. But I just would not have the ability to get the ball to those spots. So I would not be very good there. You got to put me on defense.
See, I think you would thrive in it because there's a lot of systems where you have wing defenders who push up the field with the rest, and they're the ones who typically try to get the crosses in. And so I feel like you'd be pretty good at that.
I guarantee you I would struggle because I wouldn't be able to get the cross in the air. It would be a ground cross every single time.
Not to brag or anything, but I did receive place kicking lessons from D. Anthony Cantelli.
Oh, really?
When I was, I think, 12.
Okay.
So I learned how to kick a PAT.
Yeah?
And so I did that.
Could you kick a PAT right now?
Yeah.
Could you kick a 20-yard field goal?
So what's that? That's at the 13? No.
20 would be like the 7.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, I guess it'd be at the 20. It'd be the 10 if you were just going off.
Right.
So it's at the 10. I don't know. If you gave me a couple of opportunities, yeah.
Okay.
I think I could. If you gave me 10 attempts, I could probably make
you
one.
Give me 50. I wouldn't make one.
I'm
totally fine with that.
It's something that I also kicked for football for 1 year.
Oh, okay.
And then I got another concussion, so I had to quit. But nice little clearance here by Sieper and Johnson having the midfield. But I think it's one of those things where you, as long as you can kind of understand the way your foot works, it makes it a lot easier. Because you look at your foot, there's a single bone. I don't know what it's called, and I don't even know if I was told what it was called. But they just point to that. Anyone who teaches you how to kick, they just point to that and they tell you this is where you hit the ball. And it makes a world of a difference. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like you'd be like I could see you being in like the Charlie Brown thing where they pull the ball last second and you do like a backflip.
That's just cruel. I always felt bad for Charlie when that happened.
Now let's see what Johnson can do here. Inside the box, nice little shot. That's no good. That was a bold attempt there. I mean, she didn't have much of an angle there, but still good defensive pressure there from Capon and forced another shot off the mark. And so now Sherman returns along with looks like Bartle.
Number 10, Heidi Bartle. Number 13, Maddie Spears. And number 18, Bridget Sherman.
And Maddie Spears also returns for the Crusaders. And, you know, I don't know how long of a drive it was from McGuiness, but
Oklahoma City.
Oh, okay. So I don't know.
Ooh.
Oh! A near make there, but great job by Redcorn. I mean, the 2 fingers or so she got on that made the, world of a difference because it pushed it up just enough to hit the crossbar.
That's the second, what's number 10's name?
Johnson.
That's the second left-footed shot by Johnson that has looked really, really good.
Well, of course, Kay Johnson is she's scored the only goal in this game so far, and it was a similar shot, outside the box, and but yeah. And so now with under 20 minutes to play, score still 1-0, and we're just in a bit of a deadlock right now. And so it'll be interesting to see who breaks it. But as an aspiring commentator, I often watch some Premier League action or some Champions League action, and it's always been a dream of mine. Like you have some sort of accent like the English guys do, just because they do they're so enthusiastic and they're so articulate in their vocabulary, so diverse. Like they use like big words like I don't even know what they would use. But here's Johnson.
Returning forward, Bishop McGuiness, number 2,
and now Johnson facing 3 Capon defenders, gets it out wide to number 22, and now back to number 22. And now Sherman able to force it away, and now so ends up in Sieber's possession, and now McGuiness another opportunity here. And now Palace able to get it over to Nichols, but that's going to be out of bounds as Nichols unable to gather that one. And so Capon now, in a defensive position, really trying to push the tempo. Or maybe not the tempo, but, put some pressure on McGuiness, and really is trying to, put something together here. And actually, looks like Capon will have a free kick here. And it looks like Schaefer will be the one to take it. And now it'll be ruled out of bounds, and so McGuiness will have a throw in.
As you look at the schedule for Capon to kind of start the
who do we play next time?
Start the season. Well, I mean, you play Washburn Rural yesterday, so this is a day 2 game right off the bat. So you played Washburn Rural yesterday. You're playing Bishop McGuiness today. Next week they'll start they'll play 3 games. And it's in a tournament. It doesn't say specifically what the tournament is. It's CBAC Soccer Stadium, which I'm not terribly sure what that is. But then you go into more of and to get into the City League schedule, they'll play Blue Valley. They'll play Blue Valley at Blue Valley.
Yikes!
But then you get into the into the season, but they've also got Blue Valley Southwest is predominantly pretty good. They've got St. Thomas Aquinas game mixed in there somewhere. They're usually really good. But I if you're Cantelli, you want to schedule some of those games just to give these girls the experience of playing some different types of teams. Generally, the City League Soccer competition is not all that great. So it's a little bit tough to maybe find some of these really good games that can really test your girls out and see what they can do.
Yeah, I mean, I always enjoyed the City League matches though, because I mean, you never know. I mean,
oh yeah, I mean, there's some good teams in the city, but it's not consistent throughout.
Yeah.
So like East has been pretty good, pretty regularly throughout the last few years.
North is, I know
North has got some players too.
I know they've had some. I know they always had one 10-point win or 10 score goal. That's what's in soccer. 10-goal win. But just overall, they've had a great season so far, and so it'll be interesting to see how Capon is able to play in the City League this year.
Yeah, Carroll's always going to be good, and this Bishop McGuiness team actually played Carroll yesterday.
Oh wow! Do you know the result of that?
I know Bishop McGuiness won. I don't think it was a very
close effort.
Very very far-fetched game. I think it was like 0-2 or something like that.
And now, winding down. Now under 15 minutes left to go.
Looks like Bridget Sherman just received a yellow card there.
It's rather unfortunate. And so we'll see what Cantelli decides to do. And it looks like Nichols is going to be coming on. We'll see who for. And it potentially could be for Sherman.
Generally in high school soccer, if you get a red or yellow card, you have to sit for at least a little bit. I'm not sure I think you can come right back in, but I think you have to sit initially.
Oh. It's also I'm not too well versed in the high school rules, but I know like in league play, if you have you get a yellow card one game and then later down the line you get one. Again, that those combined to create a red card, you have to sit out, 1 game suspension, or maybe it's 3 yellow cards, something like that. But regardless, I don't know if those carry over. As that was nice to look for Capon, but it looks like McGuiness able to defend it well. But this is obviously a non-conference game, so I don't know if those carry over.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
But definitely, you like to see the passion out there. I like to see the effort from Sherman. And another shot on goal, this time blocked again. But still Capon, right idea, pushing it and getting as many shots up as possible. Now Pittman. This time stolen by Tilma. Over to Nichols. Nichols tries to get inside, but that is deflected. Now Nichols able to get it back. Retreats a little bit here with Bartle. Get over to Gutierrez. Gutierrez tries to get inside, but that is deflected. And now a missile.
Shot.
No.
Heidi Bartle.
Just wide. Just wide, and that'll be a goal kick for McGuiness.
Subbing in for Bishop McGuiness, number 3, Evan McIntyre.
And Here we go.
Number 11, Vanessa Rangel.
Well, it looks like number 10 kind of drives this offense, and it's kind of predicated on her kind of trying to create things for her teammates or creating her own stuff. And I think that can work to a certain degree. She's really good, so I think that works pretty well. You can see her trying to get her teammates involved a little bit, but it's just nothing's quite working out quite the way I think either team. I think Bishop McGuiness would love to have a couple more goals than they do right now. I think Cape would love to be on the scoreboard as well. So
Exactly, and now McGuiness. Sorry, I was out there for a second. And now McGuiness here, pressing up the field. And now Hadgrave. Or Hadrava, excuse me. But now Capen trying to defend this, and they do a pretty good job here. Sloan able to get it out of the box, and now McGuiness still going to have it on the throw-in. And so here comes Guzman. Guzman gets it over. Now dangerous position here. Johnson facing defense from Palace. Or no, excuse me, that's Nye. Nye able to get it away. But now Johnson pushing up again, this time facing Fury. Fury able to get the clearance. And Hadrava. No, excuse me, that's Guzman. And Guzman also going to be there. She's going to be the one that gives it up. And now it looks like Nichols going to take a gut shot. As that heads out of bounds. I mean, you kind of think, you see a lot of these girls, with how fast that ball hits them, they usually shake it off there. And so, you got to imagine how hard that ball is hitting them. And now Fury will throw in.
Bridget Sherman returns for the Crusaders.
As Bridget Sherman comes back on for Nichols. Now Fury throws up the pitch. And Spears keeps in the air. And now she races around. And no, referee going to say be out of bounds. And cross the 10-minute threshold. And the second half has been rather quiet. But you got to imagine, Capen getting under the wire here. They might, try, something drastic.
Well, I think as we get closer to the end of this game, you're going to see some more opportunities from Capen. You might see a little bit more of a and some of those. Generally a team, at least in my experience in watching high school soccer, once a team is up in the game, it's going to be a close. It's a close game. The team that's leading usually backs off a little bit towards the end of the game. They start to tighten up their defense and start to maybe not as much attacking going on. Which provides some opportunities for the other team, but maybe not the best opportunities you're looking for with that kind of packed-in defense.
Exactly right. And now Fury going to kick it out here. And McGinn is still, in a threatening position. That's the other thing I've noticed about soccer. They have really high socks. The socks are rather. Even the refs have high socks.
You know why that is, though, right, Gabe?
No.
The shin guards.
Oh, they do have shin guards.
Wow, 3U menace. ladies and gentlemen.
I forgot you had to wear shin guards.
I mean, think of all those other shins coming at your shins.
I was just say that would hurt if you have shin
terrible.
guard. But I feel like that would
terrible.
hurt more if you have shin guard. I guess if you're also wearing
no,
shin guards.
it improves the surface area, so you're not just getting a sharp little bone-to-bone contact.
I know, but imagine
their bone is hitting the shin guard, which spreads out the force of that, so your whole leg is taking it as opposed to one little spot on your shin.
But imagine you take a shin guard to the gut or something. Let's say they're going for the ball and they
I'd
miss.
be more worried about the spikes.
Yes, they have spikes?
Well, they have plastic spikes, I'm sure.
Yeah, cleats.
Yeah, they're not in there with metal spikes. I don't think. I hope not. I really hope not.
Maybe there's one player out there that's
it's just
a menace, an actual menace.
Just an actual menace.
That's the 18U menace.
Was that you? As a 3U, it was metal spikes
yeah,
out there?
I had metal spikes and I did cartwheel throw-ins. That was the only thing I was known for.
Well, Capen's looking to put something in close to the net to really maybe provide a rebound or a deflection or something like that. I mean, Bishop McGuiness right now with six and change to go in the game has their entire team, all 11 girls minus their one forward, back on this side of half court play or half field playing defense.
And it looks like. It looks like it's going to be McGuiness ball here, but yes, that'll be a free kick. But, yeah, I think you're exactly right. McGuiness is looking to settle in, trying to preserve the win. And we will have draws, right? This is if Capen scores, we wouldn't go into overtime, would we?
No, you'd go into overtime. It'd be 2 10-minute halves. But if nobody wins out of that it's over. I think they only do penalty kicks in playoff situations.
They don't do draws?
Not a playoff. One team has to advance.
No, I mean here.
They could have a draw, but they'll go to overtime first.
All right.
But they won't finish it with penalty kicks. They'll give them the chance in overtime. But if they can't get it in overtime, nobody gets
wins.
the dub.
The referees just get sick and tired. They're like, no one gets it.
No one wins. No one played well enough to win.
No one wins today.
Well, and that's a frustrating thing about soccer. I know. These soccer kids, they get it and they understand it and they can play through that. Coming from a basketball background, that's incredibly tough for me to swallow in terms of
a draw.
Yeah, we all just played a game here. I would love to know who the better team was. So I don't know. It's a tough thing.
I like it because you also gotta remember it's a different scoring system. Because you're in soccer, you're going off the table. In basketball, you're playing just on wins and losses. But in soccer, it's a point system.
Sure. I get that.
Yeah. Because I think it's...
Well, don't you get a point for a draw?
It's a point for a draw and 3 for a win.
3 for a win, yeah. So it's better than nothing, I guess.
Yeah.
But wouldn't you rather have those 3 points?
It's true. Oh, they're not happy about that. A little bit of contact there.
A little bit of contact with the goalie there by Maddie Spears.
Vogler not happy about that one. Or Vogler, excuse me. And now Pittman can be defended well by Sophia Fury. And now Fury tries to get it up the field and does. Nice pass. See if Spears can get there. Or excuse me, that's Sherman. Sherman can be fouled. And so with 3 minutes and change, Capen with an interesting opportunity here. Is this his prime opportunity for a cross? McGuiness brings all their players into the box to defend, and now nice cross is going to be deflected.
Looks like Bartle got a foot on that, but it got deflected right away.
Nice move there by Nye to get possession back for Capen.
See if they can make something happen here.
Now Nye in the corner is going to lose it. And so that will be a goal kick. And so now odds looking grim for the Crusaders. But regardless,
Bishop McGuiness is playing kind of a I don't know if they call it a stall game. It's definitely not a stall game, but it's a very tactical,
conservative
end of season, end of game strategy here, to where we're going to control the ball as much as possible. But if we're going to go deep, we're going to go deep and make sure it gets far away from here.
Exactly. And it's just
they just want to keep that clock ticking as much as possible.
That's the very nice thing about soccer. There's no stoppages except for goals. And now Fury pushes up, and now she gets to the Sherman. Sherman with a cross, saved. It nearly came out of her hands there, but wow, great save there by Vogler.
Down with a $1:15 to go.
Oh, tussle for the ball. And now McGuiness pushing up the field. And Johnson looking fearless, puts up a shot. That's no good. Some fans unhappy.
Well, they got 45 seconds left to make something happen. They got to speed up the pace a little bit here.
Oh,
there you go.
Nice little split there by Fury. Now Fury with a nice pass, but this will be intercepted or cleared. And so still with 30 seconds, if Capen can get up the field, they'll have one more opportunity here. Now Spears looks around, trying to find something open. Gives it to Fury. Fury gets it up in the air. And it looks like that will be one back by Johnson. Now Johnson in the open field and puts up a final shot, and that's no good. And so that will end today's game. Score is 1-0 as McGuiness comes away with the win. And with that, a great effort there by the Cape Mount Carmel girls. And so we will see you guys next home game, next home contest. And with that, I've been Gabriel Breidenbach, and for me and Mr. Hebert, have a great weekend.
Thank you.